Hey, what's going on? So I got a great question. It is a most pivotal moment or experience that I've been through that's changed the understanding of myself and my path. So I've had quite a few of pivotal experiences, probably hundreds actually. There are three top ones that stick out in my mind the most, and I'm gonna go ahead and pick the middle one, number two. And I'm sure there'll be times where I have an opportunity to tell the other stories, but this one in particular has more to do about fitness or my physical experiences. So I had just it's March of 2014, and my last bodybuilding competition was in November of 2013 at the NPC Nationals, and went horrible. It was the worst prep that just one of those things where anything that could go wrong did go wrong. I was supposed to be on a reality TV show. It didn't go through, and I went down to Miami from Vegas. I had no money. It was my coach bailed on me last minute. It was really rough. So after that horrifying experience, I found myself feeling very lost because bodybuilding was sort of my identity, and I had worked my ass off to get there, and I felt like I was meant for something different or something greater, but I had no idea what. So I would be starting massage school in January after that. So when I started going to massage school, that's actually what changed a lot about me. I had gone to college at Arizona State, and I had gone to a bunch of military schools. I actually sucked at school when I was a kid. I dropped out of high school, and I didn't enjoy school at all. Um, in college, I really like studying things that I enjoy learning about. But the stuff that I don't like learning about, it's like, yeah, get away from me. I'm just not into it. So I hate math, but I love psychology and like anything that has to do with psychology. So um, and anything that has to do with the human body too. I'm just fascinated by the human body. So when I went to massage school, it was a very different approach because it was a lot of these theoretical and/or Eastern paradigm type of processes. And when I had started going there, I was still a big dude. I was still, on a lot of gear, and I was a very high-strung individual. I was super uppity and just I was a tight ass, and I was not happy. So about 3 months into it, part of the process of us getting ready for a massage is to do what's called get into our beingness, right? So, you know, um, as we prepare to work on someone, we take some deep breaths and get our head out of the future and out of the past and into the present moment and focus on our intention on our client at that particular time. Well, so it's basically like meditating, right? So doing that 8 hours a day, after a few months, it started to affect me because I had never really learned how to slow my mind down, which I find now is kind of the central aspect or the foundation of everything that I do. It's a game changer for real. And I remember right around March, I started getting really bad headaches, like insanely horrible headaches. And I've never had headaches before in my life, really. And it was like this pain that was going right back here down into the right behind my eye on the right side. It sucked. And one day I went into school and I was just hurt and I was tired. I was feeling shitty and I had this insane migraine. I took some Lortabs and I was taking Excedrin and I took some Adderall and I took whatever I could take to try to make the pain go away because I just wanted to make it through school and just make it through that day. And nothing was working. Nothing even touched it. And it took me over. It got so bad that in the middle of class, I literally, like, I got super sensitive to light and I fell down on the ground screaming in agony and pain in front of about 30 people, okay? This is happening in front of the entire class. We were getting ready to start doing some work on each other, and we were partnering up. And thank God I was partnering up with the one guy in the class that I really trusted. I called him Yoda. He was a very spiritually enlightened guy. He was also a prior Air Force dude, so him and I got along really well. And and he was like, "Hey, bro, can I do some cranial on you, some craniosacral therapy to see if I can help with your headache?" I was like, Yes, please, just do something, just get rid of this fucking pain." So we laid down. I put a jacket over my head to get rid of the light, and he went ahead and he put his fingers into my CV4, which is the little area that's on the crest of the cranium, right underneath the head. It's where all the suboccipital muscles are, right? And as soon as he pressed in there, it like sent me into literally like an acid trip, and I was completely sober. And when he sent me into it's like I got jolted into this tunnel. I couldn't see anything. It was black, but I could feel energies all around me. And I have never really felt energy before, not like this. And I didn't really understand what I was feeling, but I had it took over me. I had no control over it. And I felt like there was almost like demons trying to reach me and grab me. And I felt like I was falling down this black abyss. And my body started like almost like having a seizure. It was like started doing the kiver, and I wasn't fully conscious the whole time. I was kind of out of it. But after about maybe 10, 15 minutes, I felt like almost protected in a way. It was very, very strange. And so fast forward 2 hours, because this went on for a little over 2 hours. I finally came to. I had been crying, and I was completely exhausted. My body was just completely shut down. And I looked up, and there was 3 people working on me. One person doing cranial, one person doing acupressure, and one person doing Reiki. And I was like, what the hell just happened? And my teacher, his name was Mr. Pete, the whole class was just like, they were in awe. They were like, what the hell is going on here? What's wrong with them? Like, do we need an ambulance? Everybody thought I was having a seizure, I think. So Mr. Pete was like, so you want to know what just happened? And everybody was like, yeah. And I was like, like, tell me what's going on. Like, well, Mr. Vazakis just had one of the most intense and biggest SERs that I've ever seen. I was like, what the hell is an SER? An SER is a somato-emotional release. And basically, the idea is that we have emotions stored in our tissue, in our body. And when we go through traumatic experiences or when we suppress any kind of emotion, it gets stored in our tissue. Well, me being in the military for 10 years and bodybuilding for 6 years, I was pretty good at storing emotion in my tissue, apparently. So when I finally started to slow down and slow my mind down and my body followed, it just had to release all this energy that was pent up. And so I literally laid there, and the shaking or the seizure-like activity that my body was doing was called fascial unwinding. The emotions get stored in the fascia in our body, and I can get into that. Fascia is a whole another video in itself. But as I was relaxing, it was the energy being released from my fascia, my tissue, and it was releasing in the form of my body shaking uncontrollably. And after that happened, my life was different, and it was strange because I didn't understand what the hell was going on, but I didn't want to hang out with all my bodybuilding buddies anymore. I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't really enjoy working out. I broke up with my girl because I didn't know what was going on with me, and she didn't understand it either. And we just like stopped. Like, it was like the energy all of a sudden just shifted in me, and it pushed away everything that I resonated with before that experience. So I didn't want to eat 6-7 times a day anymore. I didn't want to bodybuild. I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do, but it sucked because with the absence of that, I felt crazy. I didn't know what to do, and that craziness lasted for a while. I'm kind of a stubborn person, which is a blessing and a curse. When I'm stubborn about something good, I go all the way. I'm a super intense guy. But when I'm stubborn about something bad, I tend to hold on to things, and I have a difficult time letting go, and that's what I'm learning to do right now. And thank God, at that time I had started massaging, and I came across a client that was an IFBB Pro figure competitor, and I was working on her, but she was also into spirituality and crystals and all this stuff, and I explained my experience to her, and she was like, "Wow, you have no idea what just happened to you, do you?" And she kind of took me under her wing and taught me what I had going on. Now, she was teaching me everything that I was able to process or able to understand in my perspective of that given time. But understand something, that this type of thing, it basically going from living in the ego to accepting, faith and the universal energy and the higher self. It's an incredibly dramatic process. Especially, I was really, really ego-driven, like fear-driven, ego-driven. So this shift was just not easy at all. However, if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't be the person I am today, and I wouldn't be talking to you right now. So I'm incredibly grateful at this point, years later, that it happened to me. And this life coach, initial life coach that I had, if you will, going through my spiritual awakening, uh, taught me, to get in touch with my inner child, taught me to meditate and breathe, and taught me about my chakras, and taught me about my energy, and how to release, and how to accept, and how to let go. And of course, it's like peeling an onion. It's a process. So that was probably the most pivotal moment in my life, in my modern life, anyways. That helped me transform, and I'm incredibly grateful for the experience. And now, like, I've embraced the fact that I'm an empath, an incredibly intuitive and incredibly gifted healer, and I accept that about myself now. And I love to help and heal others that are, ready and willing to be healed. Um, and before that, during the military and everything, and like, I wasn't that at all. I was lying to myself. I was living one big fat freaking lie, but I didn't know any better because I grew up with a family in Boston that didn't talk about this kind of stuff. They're very conservative Christians. Things had a society, and things had to look a certain way, and it just wasn't there. There was no talk about spirituality and energy, and the universe. So I've had to learn all this stuff on my own, develop my own boundaries, develop on my own everything. And I think us as if you know anything about indigo children, star seeds and rainbows and all that stuff, I definitely believe that I'm an indigo child because I grew up pretty fucked up, and I can tell that story another time too. So now I'm getting off topic, and I'm going to bring it back. So that was my biggest pivotal moment, and I hope you enjoyed the story. And if you have any more questions relating to that or about that or any way that I can help, just please let me know. All right? So you guys have a great day.